Namaste. My name is Neelima. Welcome to Reflections Along the Way podcast, where you will be listening to reflections from learnings and experiences along my life's journey. Behind every human endeavor and all the different advancements that we've seen in the world, like it might be cars, it might be televisions, all the technology, the computer, internet, everything, right? They all were crystallized or they saw the day of light because of someone having those ideas and having the willpower and conviction to work towards making them real, right? Basically, they put those ideas into practice and made them a reality for us to have all those today. And much of what we see in the world today is nothing but ideas of yesterday, which were there in the minds of a few people, that fructified into reality because of the willpower and determination that those people had to put their ideas into practice. All people of great achievement have had this tremendous willpower and determination. Basically, that will we get because of our courage of conviction, right? Because we are convinced in something, then we get that courage to put them into practice, and from that courage is born the willpower. There are many people who have a bunch of ideas. There are millions of ideas floating around in the world. But only a few of them are able to bring those ideas or inventions into reality, right? Most of us, when we see a small challenge that we face when we are trying to implement an idea, we back off. We get scared because we are afraid of what's going to happen. We are anxious of it, and we become victim to the challenge, and we are ready to compromise, even though our intellectual conviction tells us otherwise. But we are ready to compromise because of even the smallest of challenges, right? The lives of all the great people who have achieved a lot suggest to us that the basic necessity for the development of that strong will is to have that ability to live up to one's own convictions truthfully and to act accordingly, according to one's own convictions. When we live in the spirit of those convictions, then we live in truthfulness, Satyam. To explain this, Swamiji gives this small story about a woman named Margaret, where in her little town she decides to dedicate all the free hours that she has by helping to clean up the environment. She begins to collect all data, she lobbies with the local organization, she works with all the neighbors, she raises enough money, she gets all the petitions signed, and she tries to put that up on the next ballot during elections. But what happens is, like, the local industries or the business people over there get afraid by that, and they launch a campaign to smear her reputation. But Margaret, because she's so convinced of a goal, she's so intellectually convinced of that idea of what she's doing is right, she does not care about all the unfair attack that has been launched to just kind of dishearten her, and she continues to fight for it, and she gets it done. And only our intellect has this capacity to fight all these external challenges and to keep our values. When we allow those ideals to be broken, then we compromise, and that those ideals are broken basically because of the weakness of our mind, and that's when we compromise and we end up living a dishonest life. And then there is a split personality going on where we think of something differently, but we are living a different life. And that causes a lot of agitations in the head, right? A person who is successful never allows his judgment and his ability to discriminate between things to be disturbed by the tides of emotion. When emotions start dictating our actions, then we're almost like animals. What's the difference between animals and us then? When we are choosing an ideal, it's not like we just out of the blue select something because that looks appealing today. We have to consider it, reconsider it, how many ever number of times that is necessary until you're convinced that that is the ideal, and you're convinced intellectually that that is what you want to work for. And then you gather evidence to support that lofty ideal. After all that work is done, once we accept that ideal, we must have the courage to live up to it at all times. That is what is called truthfulness, which is the source of the will and courage to live up to our convictions. For any successful person, we see that the most important trait that they have is integrity. It's inflexible, it's uncompromising, and they have this firm integrity and truthfulness at all levels of activity. Once an individual develops in himself or herself that kind of integrity, then no challenge can disturb that person. No challenge, no situation can disturb that person. And as others are observing that person, they are captivated by the confidence and the self-assurance that they notice in that person. Moreover, when a person has this level of integrity, that person is accepted, he's trusted, and he's befriended by everybody. And when that kind of a person takes up something as a goal, there are people who come together to help him towards the success. So integrity is really an asset for any person in any field. And that integrity it is rooted by the quality and beauty in the pure intentions that the person has. That's why that person has this nobility, that noble integrity. If our thoughts and if our intentions are pure, then the thoughts are also pure, and we have that courage to live by those great ideals that we believe in, even if they are impractical, even if they seem impossible, even if like short term there are failures that come to us, then we would still have that will to live by those ideals because of the integrity that has been cultivated. That is the greatest treasure a person can have. Even with like failure or obstacles or criticism by everyone, or even if they're ridiculed by the society, if one is living by those ideals and living by that determination to live that honorable life, which is consistent with the ideal that that person has set for himself or herself, then the personality unfolds in a very glowing way. Those individuals alone are people who are evolving truly. All the others are just adapting to whatever is happening around them. The people who are adapting, they compromise at every turn, with every circumstance, with every challenge, trying to rearrange all the patterns outside so that they can get across the challenge that they're facing now, without realizing that the root of the problem is being caused by the compromising that they are doing. They struggle on with becoming slaves of those habits, and they cannot inspire the world by such kind of narrow vision. Only a person of integrity has this power over his or her life and the happenings around him. So naturally, the integrity is very, very essential for leading a successful life. Thank you for listening to today's reflections. If you'd like to connect with me, please visit bluishmuse.com. Until next time, namaste.